All right, everybody. Good morning. It is Friday. We made it. Friday, December the 3rd. It is 9:01 a.m. Thanks for being here with me. I got my little keyboard out, so let's do a little bit of just kind of some morning vibes, you know. All right, nice. I like that. Let's get the morning started. Well, I hope y'all are doing well. I know Friday is not always the end of the week for everyone, but it is for me. I'm excited to have reached Friday. It's a good feeling. Let's go ahead and check out the weather for today. Let's see what's going on across the world. Well, really just across the U.S. In Los Angeles, partly cloudy, high of 73. In Denver here, it's still warmer than I would have expected, 59 degrees for the high, partly cloudy right now. Chicago, 48 degrees for the high, partly cloudy there as well. And in New York City, partly cloudy, high of 54 today. Let's jump over to some other cities here. Seattle, Washington, partly cloudy. All right, Seattle, it's not raining. I think that's the first for me on this show. Every single other show we've done has been raining in Seattle, so that's wild. Detroit, snowing, high of 39. In Memphis, it looks like absolutely perfect today, 70 degrees for the high, sunny. And in Tampa, Florida, a little cloudy, high of 74, so that's nice. And let's go ahead and let's get right into the news. Let's see what's going on. I was going to try to keep it in outer space for a little bit today. I've really been enjoying all those. So this first article is from space.com. Says total solar eclipse 2021, when, where, and how to see it on December 4th. So that is tomorrow, y'all. Wow. Okay, I thought this article was teasing something further along in the calendar here, but okay. Antarctica will see nearly 2 minutes of totality at most, with surrounding regions getting a partial view. So this is not like a huge one. But let's see what's going on. The only total solar eclipse of the year takes place on Saturday, December 4th, and if you live in the far south of the world, you may be able to catch a glimpse. Alternatively, there might be a live stream available if the Antarctic weather holds. Solar eclipses happen when the new moon passes in front of the face of the sun from Earth's perspective. In case you guys didn't know, never look at the sun directly with your eyes. Instead, follow the safety guide we have later in this article. So space.com is the article that we're reading, in case you guys don't know. A total solar eclipse, like the one that crossed the U.S. on August 21st, 2017, happens when the moon is close enough in its orbit of the Earth to block 100% of the solar disk. If an observer is in the narrow path of totality during the eclipse peak, they will see a 360-degree sunset in the fiery outer layer of the sun known as the corona. The best visibility for this eclipse is from Antarctica and surrounding waters. Okay, well, I hope they get that live stream up, because I would like to see it, but I'm definitely not going to be anywhere near Antarctica this weekend. What else does it say? Although some partial phases are visible in regions such as Australia, New Zealand, Argentina, and South Africa. After 2021 eclipse concludes, we'll have to wait almost 18 months until the next total solar eclipse on April 20th, 2023. Did you guys hear that? So there's going to be a total stoner eclipse of the moon on April 20th, 2023. So mark your calendars. What's up, Everett? Mythic Politics, thanks for being here and for hosting. You have the best streaming etiquette of anyone I know. I don't know how you do so much streaming and watching. I'm really trying to work on that myself. Your stream is always happening right when I'm doing dinner time. So that's hard, but Don't worry, I'll try to catch some more as I get some free nights. Is there anything else we need to read here? Here are some tips to help you get the most out of the December 4th eclipse. So I guess this is for our folks down under. We'll just give you guys some tips just in case you might try to catch the partial solar eclipse. It says, like most solar eclipses, the event will be relatively brief. The moon has a very small shadow, and we are lucky that at times it is just big enough to cover the entire face of the sun from the Earth's perspective. I think this is, when you think about that fact, that's kind of wild. Totality will last just 1 minute and 54 seconds at most, according to Sky and Telescope. This is highly dependent on where you are standing within the path of totality. The partial phase of the eclipse will last about an hour, though. Okay. It begins at 2 a.m. Eastern Time. The greatest point of the total solar eclipse occurs at 2:33 a.m. Eastern Time. That's 7:33 Greenwich Mean Time. All right, cool. Love to read about stuff like that. Let's see what else is going on. How to see the comet Leonard as it nears Earth in the coming days. Do you guys want any more space and star news? I think we've just done one, astral event. Let's look at some other stuff like this one from Ars Technica. It says, so metal. Newly discovered exoplanet is likely over 80% iron. Wow. Let me get some coffee for that. I want to send a shout out to Justin Hess, I believe, on YouTube. Gave me a new Photoshop. If you watched our intro today, it's the first time we've had the purple intro up. And he sent me a nice pixel art, kind of a meme to put in there. So appreciate that. If you guys ever have any Photoshops you would like me to include in the intro, just send them my way and I'll work them in there. I always appreciate those. So here we go. Newly discovered exoplanet is likely over 80% iron. It looks like a hot version of the innermost planet in our solar system. Okay. So Mercury, is that what they're referring to? For centuries, scientists only had a limited number of examples to look at when it came to understanding the formation of planets. As we've discovered ever-increasing number of worlds, however, we find many that look like nothing that we have in our solar system. Hot gas giants, super Earths, mini Neptunes, and more. So it can be a relief to find that something that looks like a familiar planet, since it indicates the processes that form the solar system may not be unusual. A new discovery definitely falls into that category, as researchers have announced finding what appears to be an extremely iron-rich planet that, at least composition-wise, is very similar to Mercury. The difference is that it's nearly on top of its star and is probably hot enough that any iron on the surface could potentially be molten. The new planet was found orbiting a red dwarf named GJ367. That's about 30 light years from Earth. Red dwarfs are small, dim stars, which makes identifying planets around them easier. A planet that orbits between a red dwarf and Earth will block out proportionally more of the star's light, and because the star is low mass, a planet's gravity will cause it to shift further when it orbits, creating large Doppler shifts in the light originating from the star. The new planet JG367b turned up in data from NASA's Transiting Exoplanets Survey Satellite, or better known as TESS mission. TESS watches for drops in starlight caused by an orbiting planet, and it does so at an impressive clip. The data used here included a new image every 2 minutes for a total of 2 weeks. That's more than enough to pick out the signal caused by JG367b, which completes a trip around its star in only a third of a day. So yeah, wow. It is a very, very short year. Hellish conditions, it says, they estimate the surface of this planet would be 1,747 Kelvin, very close to the melting point of iron. Of course, the outer crust is likely to be rocky, or would be rocky if it weren't for the fact that many silicon-rich rocks melt at similar temperatures as well. All right. I love that. I love to see us discovering these planets, these new bodies, astral bodies, if you will. And we've been keeping up with the International Space Station. We talked a couple of times about how they are, they had to reschedule a spacewalk due to the space debris. And now there's a news story out from CNN, and it says they had to basically dodge some of this space debris. International Space Station swerves to avoid space junk, Russia says. This is from Moscow, CNN reporting the International Space Station had to adjust its orbit to avoid collision with a piece of debris from a U.S. rocket. The head of Russia's space agency, Roscosmos, Dmitry Rogozin, said on Friday, according to the state news agency TASS. Let's see. Ruben Ryan says new astral bodies are hot, literally. Yeah, thanks for hanging with me in the chat, everyone. Always appreciate that. This is the quote from Rogozin. He says, 5 minutes ago, the ISS avoided a conjunction with U.S. space debris, the Pegasus carrier rocket remnants. Interesting. He had said earlier on Friday that the maneuver to avoid the piece of debris from a U.S. rocket launched in 1994 was planned for 10:58 Moscow time. The orbit had to be adjusted by the thrusters of the Progress MS-18 space freighter, which is docked to the station. Earlier this week, NASA postponed a spacewalk, as we were talking about, originally scheduled for Tuesday, after receiving a space debris warning from the International Space Station. Just hours before the astronauts were due to venture out on the ISS, the agency said on its Twitter account that due to the lack of opportunity to properly assess the risk, it had decided to delay the spacewalk. All right, look, there's some astronauts right there. WM's in the chat. NASA, more like ass. Y'all are so goofy, man. All right, well, that was a good helping of science news. I love that. Let's refresh on some coffee here. This morning I didn't make my own. I went to McDonald's. I've been doing real good this week about eating at home. I made a new mission this week to have sit-down dinners with Goldie. Typically with a little child, what we do is feed her dinner fairly early, like 6:30, and then we have our dinner closer to 8, 9 o'clock, depending on what's going on that night. So to do family dinners means we sacrifice a little bit of adult time, but I thought that doing dinners with her would be a very good, I don't know, it's just like I wanted to be leading by example and showing her what it's like to sit and eat a full balanced meal. I think a lot of times, she wants to watch TV or something with her meal, and I just felt like we needed to give a little guidance there. And then so the upside of that was we save so much money on dinners. Like we haven't been eating out or anything, so it's pretty cool. What's going on in the chat? Y'all are getting crazy. WM, just realizing I ripped off Everett. Sorry, Everett. Yeah, I did miss some of Everett's comments here because I saw Ruben saying something about astral bodies, and then Everett says more like astral. So you guys are really getting it with the astrokes this morning. Anyway, where were we? We're going to skip right over sports news, and let's hit the entertainment news. Okay, so I wanted to kind of skim this. I saw this, and it says from Rolling Stone, the best 50 albums of 2021. Most of these I'm assuming I don't know, so this will be mainly just me reading some of this list to y'all, and feel free to weigh in. So here we go. I saw a little side headline I wanted to check out about this Versus with 3 6 Mafia versus Bone Thugs and Harmony. But yeah, let's take a quick preview of this, and we'll open that in another tab. All right, I'm not even going to read. We're just going to go fast here. So St. Vincent, Daddy's Home. I haven't heard that one. James McMurdy, The Horses and the Hounds. I have not heard that one either. Drake, Certified Lover Boy. 47, Jay Cortez, Timeless. Have not listened to that either. Trying to at least give it time to let the album art load for you guys. Tomorrow X Together. I'm assuming is that like two groups. No, I guess not. This is the Ascendant South Korean boy band elevated their sound and image this year with the Chaos chapter Fight or Escape. What a name. I love how Korean boy bands make albums that sound like a RPG or something like that. Boldy James and the Alchemist, Bo Jackson. I don't think I've listened to any of these albums yet. I also did not know Iron Maiden came out with an album this year. Senjutsu. Mike Towers, Like Mike. Illuminati Hotties. Wow, how do I not know there's a band called Illuminati Hotties that put out the 42nd best album of the year? Let me do one more. Interesting. More like Illuminati Hotties, am I right? Mickey Guyton, Remember Her Name. Foo Fighters, Medicine at Midnight. Sometimes I forget that Foo Fighters still is coming out with new music. Come on, album. You can load. I just got my internet upgraded for you guys, so I was hoping things would be running a lot smoother. Topaz Jones, Don't Go Telling Your Mama. Yola, Stand for Myself. Pooh Shiesty with Shiesty Season at 37. Lil Sims, Sometimes I Might Be Introvert. I like that name. Everett says that Topaz album was fire. Silk Sonic, An Evening with Silk Sonic. Now, I've, of course, heard the single that came out, but I've not actually listened to this whole album. I've gotten some feedback from friends that say it's definitely worth listening to, so I'm going to get back to that. Adult Mom, Driver at 34. Summer Walker, Still Over It. Snail Mail with Valentine. Madlib, nice, with Sound Ancestors. So many people making albums this year, I had no idea. Mustafa, When the Smoke Rises. Young Thug with Punk. Everett says Silk Sonic album good, nice. Mobyline with, I have no idea how to say that. I feel like maybe I'm not even allowed to say this with the X's in it. I don't know. I don't know. Mabyland, you have to get back to me on that one. The Weather Station, Ignorance. Where is the cover? I'm just going to blame Rolling Stones for this slow album loading. Mado Mokhtar, Afrique Victim. It looks cool. I have no idea what in some ways, Mado Mokhtar's Afrique Victim sounds both like an inversion of rock and roll and the purest rock record to come out in recent years. Okay. WM says, Snail Mail is the only one I've heard so far. Oh, yeah, I'm with you. Carly Pierce, 29. How many people can do the whole naming your album after your age thing? I feel like it's played out now. It needs to stop. It's been done. No more doing it. Dry Cleaning, New Long Leg at 24. Sema Funk, El Alimento. The album cover is fire. Dawn Richard, Second Line. Lots of amazing cover art, I gotta say. Doja Cat, Planet Her at 21. Leon Bridges, Gold Digger Sounds at 20. Arlo Parks, Collapsed in Sunbeams. Halsey, If I Can't Have Love, I Want Power. Is that a Game of Thrones reference? The cover. Tim's, If Orange Was a Place. Low, with the album Hey What. I just wanted to make sure I delineated the difference there between the artist name and the album name, neither of which I'm familiar with. Billie Eilish, Happier Than Ever at 15. Polo G, Hall of Fame. Morgan Wade, Reckless. Pink Pantheress, To Hell With It. I feel really out of touch. I don't think I even know most of these artists. Playboy Cardi, Whole Lot of Red. And now we're in the final 10, so we'll slow down just a bit on these so we can see the top 10 albums according to Rolling Stone for 2021. Japanese Breakfast with Jubilee. C. Tangana with El Madrileño. Everett says Whole Lot of Red was 10-10 for me. Okay. And number 8, Turnstile with Glow On. At number 7, Jasmine Sullivan with Hotels. At number 6, Lil Nas X with Montero. At number 5, Lucy Dacus, Home Video. At number 4, Tyler the Creator, Call Me If You Get Lost. At number 3, Rauw Alejandro with Vice Versa. At number 2, Adele with 30. Okay. And finally, at number 1, they're saying Sour by Olivia Rodrigo is the best album of 2021. So, interesting. Good morning, Christina. Good to see you. Okay, well, hey, I've got a lot of learning to do. If I go back and dig into all these albums, I'm sure there's probably like 48 I've never heard anything from at all. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Thanks to the Rolling Stones for reporting that article for us, that little listicle. And then there was another article right here I wanted to check out. So I think it was just last night that there was a versus between 3 6 Mafia and Bone Thugs and Harmony. And let's see, this says here, fight breaks out during Bone Thugs and Harmony and 3 6 Mafia's versus battle. Busy Bone had a bone to pick about mocking and punches were thrown. Oh, damn. They're not going to let me read the whole story. Probably enough information there. If anybody watched the verses, let me know how that went. It's really funny. My wife sent me a promo. Lee sent it to me on, if you're Facebook friends with me, you probably saw it on my wall. She posted the promo video for that on my wall. And it's like, to me, it's funny because she was like, is it even a contest? Like, who's going to win? And I was like, yeah, I think it is. Because, like, I've never known 3 6 Mafia to be like at the top of any list as far as like lyricism or just the technical skills behind like rapping and stuff. I just think that they just brought so much style and swagger and changed the game as far as like what music sounded like for hip hop when they were coming out, and they've really left their mark. Like Bone Thugs and Harmony are very known for their like very fast, technically strong ability at rapping. So I thought it was kind of a good contest. I've never watched any of these versus things either. So if you guys know anything about that, if you watched it, weigh in the chat. We're gonna move right along into technology news. This is for all the Pokemon players out there. If you're a Pokemon Go player, this next one says how to play native refresh rate in Pokemon Go. Below that it says from The Verge, Pokemon Go now runs much smoother on iPhones. So let's take a look. Starting with Pokemon Go version 2.25, players can now make Pokemon Go run at their device's screen's native refresh rate. This change is applied in both iOS and Android versions of the game, and it finally brings high refresh rate gameplay to Go. Playing at a higher refresh rate could drain battery more, but it allows the game to run at a higher FPS count than it would otherwise. And how to activate this? Go to the main menu, go to the settings menu, scroll to the bottom to open up advanced settings, and click the native refresh rate menu item, and you're done. So there you go, guys. And is there anything else? Usually the technology news section is pretty disappointing. Microsoft backtracks on Windows 11 controversial default browser changes. Let's see what that means. Okay, we read the headline. The sub-headline says, Windows 11 will now make it easier to change default browsers. Good. That's all I need to know. That's what all operating systems should do. All right. In business news, I heard about this on the radio on the way in. China's ride-hailing giant is delisting from the New York Stock Exchange. China's ride-hailing behemoth Didi has begun the procedure of delisting from the New York Stock Exchange and applying to list in Hong Kong instead. The company announced via a Weibo post on Friday morning. The decision came days after Bloomberg reported the Chinese government had asked Didi to delist from the U.S. out of security fears. Didi could not be reached for comment by TechCrunch at the time. The move is anything but surprising. The SoftBank-backed mobility powerhouse has faced immense regulatory pressure since it failed to assure Beijing its data practices were secure before its blockbuster IPO in July. Okay. Well, I'm glad I got to read more about that because I was wondering why a company would do such a thing. The politics of it all in this particular business sphere, it definitely comes from some government pressure there on that one. Okay, from CBS News, this is from my local news. This is the Omicron variant is in Colorado. Health officials confirm. And variants, man, they get around fast. Well, we're getting close to the end of the stream. Thank you guys for tuning in. There were a couple of stories that are specific to streaming, not so much world news and that kind of stuff, but I did want to look at them because they are in the top of my For You section. And these two stories connect. First up, there's basically a big streaming competition going on between Twitch and YouTube right now. Twitch has always been the home for live streamers, right? And YouTube has been the home for watching videos. Not to say they don't do live streams on YouTube, but, I think those two have always kind of had their best of one thing and the other, Twitch being the streaming side of it. And recently YouTube has tried to really cut into that. So you've seen some big streamers kind of being poached from Twitch over to YouTube. And so now some of the controversy is becoming public. So this story is from Pokimane. When I heard about this person, I always thought the name was very funny. I have no idea why she goes by Pokimane, but it just, obviously it goes for me back to Juicy Mane. And I had even done a Pokemon. I took Pokemon and turned them into Pokimane with some, Juicy Mane, Chill Neil costumes and stuff. So if you ever want to see that, I think it's still up in my store and stuff. But right now, Pokimane is slamming YouTube gaming by showing scary channel numbers. So I kind of skimmed this earlier. I don't have to read the whole thing to you. But basically, Pokemon defended Twitch on the ongoing streaming wars after YouTube signed Twitch popular streamer Ludwig. So that we'll come back to this. She also highlighted the point that YouTube isn't all loving and caring about their streamers as it's made out to be. There was a very hilarious metaphor, if I can find it. We'll keep scrolling. I did want to hit this. She said, according to Pokimane, this is after she went over to YouTube 2 years ago, YouTube ultimately crashed her views on the platform and also kicked her out of the algorithm. Suddenly, all of her videos died as the views dropped from 900,000 views per day to 100,000 total viewers. That's definitely a big call out from Pokimane as she is hinting toward the issue. And then, so she's going on here talking about Twitch has so many streamers. Do they care about you? Sure. Are they going to care about you to the same level as YouTube, who's trying to get their 5th big streamer over on their platform? Of course not. She continues to say, Twitch has much less to lose than YouTube does. It's like if you are dating a dude and he has 4 other girlfriends and you are the 5th, whereas if you are dating a dude and you're going to be his first girlfriend ever, of course he is going to care about you more. Amazing metaphor there from Pokimane. So, I hope y'all are not dating dudes with 4 or 5 girlfriends. Please don't do that. Care about yourself. So I wanted to connect back to this story because Pokimane had brought up that this person, Ludwig, I'd never heard of them until this week, was one of the most recent streamers to go over to YouTube. And this article headline says, Ludwig's stream banned from YouTube days after changing platform. The stream came to an abrupt end due to copyright infringement. So I'll send a shout out to Everett on this one, because I know he kind of like decided to not do the YouTube thing for similar reasons. What happened here is that, let me just read this to give you guys an account. It says, while Ludwig was live watching videos with around 25,000 viewers, his stream came to an abrupt end. Those who tried to watch the stream got an error claiming the stream was unavailable and had been suspended for policy violations. Shortly after this was brought to his attention, Ludwig ended his stream and has not been live since. And then the explanation here is hilarious. It says, shortly after his stream came to an end, Ludwig uploaded a video to his second channel explaining why he had been restricted from streaming on YouTube. He saw the humor in the situation and explained while he was live that he was checking out the 50 most classic videos on the platform and stumbled upon Baby Shark. I listened to a few seconds of Baby Shark. I'm pretty sure the corporate overlords that own Baby Shark have like an iron fist over YouTube, and so they took me down. Yeah, I believe it. You don't mess with Baby Shark. I think that's a lesson we can all take away for the world of streaming, is that if you're going to get into streaming, do not mess with Baby Shark. They are definitely the YouTube kings. Well, everyone, thanks for tuning in for another Mornings with Phil. This has been our 5th day this week, 5 days in a row. I will not be doing weekends, but I have really been enjoying doing a full week of programming, so we'll try to get back to this next week. And if you're watching, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button for me, just so I can get some viewers. If you've really enjoyed it, you can tip me, buy me a cup of coffee over at Ko-Fi.com. Anyway, this has been a pleasure. Here, before we go, I'll play out a little, what does Everett say? Coward, we want your weekends too. The good news is you can watch me on the weekends. We do the Comics Misexplained show on Twitch and YouTube and Facebook with my buddy Jason Cantu, and oftentimes Lucas Anderson and John Comunes. That's on Sunday afternoons at 8:30 Eastern. And then if you didn't catch it last night, we did a live episode of The Suck, so you can go back and watch that. It was a good one. I thought it was it was definitely our best live video show. I was going to say one of, but we've only done 2 so far. But anyway, y'all take care of yourselves. Have a great weekend. Take care of your family and your friends. I love you. I'll see you next week.